Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome. Today's topic is the 1888 Cleveland Blues MLB baseball season. Again, the Blues were playing in the American Association, a rival to the National League. And again, they were playing at National League Park. The Blues had a tough year in 1888. They finished in 6th place with a record of 50-82, 32 games under 500, a winning percentage of .379. Not that great. 40 and a half games out of first place. And they started out actually losing a lot of games. Naturally, the team morale sank, and they were considered a behaviorally challenged team. In other words, the players tended to get in a lot of fights. The team needed to have 1,000 fans per home game to break even financially. You can see how the old days, this was the business was much a smaller business than it is today. 1,000 fans, that's not very many. But as the team continued to lose, the attendance was very low. Frank Robeson decided to try games at Geauga Lake, playing home games there because there was this prohibition on Sunday baseball that was more enforced. It was a state law, but he thought he could get around the law if he went out of town. Back then it was the Geauga Lake Picnic Grounds, and he got, for a July 22 game, the Blues attracted 3,500 fans, so that was good. And then a week later, again, 3,500, so that was financially lucrative. The third game, only 1,000. Then they tried another game at Byarls Park in Newburgh, Cleveland, the Washington Park area, off Independence Road near Fleet Avenue in Cleveland. Jersey Backley, a pitcher, hit a home run into the lake there. And then they had another exhibition game at Byarls Park against the Kansas City Cowboys, and 2,000 fans came. That park was renamed Forest City Park from 1894 to 1920. Anyway, that was the end of Sunday baseball. They had five games. The home record for the Blues in 1888 was 34-27, which was very good. National League Park, where they were playing, the field conditions were significantly upgraded. Tom Lawrence was hired, who'd been the old groundskeeper at the former Kennard Park. Attendance problems were an issue. On May 2nd, they had 1,000 fans. May 14th, only 300 fans came to a home game. And the Sporting News called them the Cleveland Remnants because the team wasn't winning. It was losing a lot and not many fans were coming. Now, 1888 was a U.S. presidential election year, and the fifth Ohio man was elected to become U.S. president, Benjamin Harrison from North Bend, Ohio, near Cincinnati. His grandfather, William Henry Harrison, was the first Ohio president, elected in 1840, and then the second was Ulysses S. Grant in 1868, reelected in 1872. The third was Rutherford B. Hayes from Delaware and Fremont, Ohio, in 1876. The fourth was James A. Garfield, elected in 1880 from Cleveland, and then Ben Harrison in 1888. Three more men from Ohio would be elected president. William McKinley from Canton, Ohio, in 1896 and reelected in 1900. William Howard Taft from Cincinnati in 1908. And Warren Harding from Marion, Ohio, in 1924. After the regular season was over, the 1880 World Series featured the National League champions New York Giants playing against the American Association champions St. Louis Browns, and the Giants won the World Series 6-4. So the Geauga Lake, as I said, there were 3 games played there in 1888 on Sundays. Geauga Lake is southeast of Cleveland, and Bainbridge Township, or near Aurora, Ohio, became a popular theme park and amusement park with rides, games, and roller coasters. Established in 1887, the year before, the first ride was in 1889. First roller coaster in 1925, the Big Dipper. It was had different names: Six Flags Worlds of Adventure, Geauga Lake, and Wildwater Kingdom. The amusement park closed in 2008, and 2016 the Wildwater Kingdom closed, so it's completely closed now. Geauga Lake, famous amusement park. So, The American Association, the first place team was the St. Louis Browns, who finished 92-43. Second place, the Brooklyn Bridegrooms at 88-52. Third place, Philadelphia Athletics, 81-52. Fourth place, the Cincinnati Red Stockings, 80-54. Fifth place, the Baltimore Orioles, 57-80. Sixth place, the Cleveland Blues at 50-82. Seventh place, the Louisville Colonels at 48-87. And eighth and last place, the Kansas City Cowboys at 43-89. The team started the year with Jimmy Williams as the manager, and after a start of 20-44, a tough start, on July 6th, Williams received a telegram that his father had died, and he decided to resign at that time, so he did not finish the year. He was replaced by Tom Loftus, who was the manager for the rest of the year, and under Loftus, the Blues had a record of 30-38. Loftus was an outfielder manager from St. Louis, Missouri. He died in Dubuque, Iowa, in 1910 at age 53. In his playing career, he hit 182 with 6 hits. His managerial record was .454 and .580. As a player, he played for the St. Louis Brown Stockings and the St. Louis Browns in 1877 and 1883. As a manager, he managed the Milwaukee Brewers, Cleveland Blues, Cleveland Spiders, Cincinnati Reds, Chicago Orphans, and Washington Senators between 1884 and 1903. As manager, he would be part owner of the team, and he was an early advocate of inside baseball team play and the sacrifice bunt. Tom Loftus. Now the regular lineup, Pop Snyder was back as catcher. Snyder hit .215 with 7 doubles, 3 triples, 0 home runs, 14 RBIs, and 9 stolen bases. The Blues had a new first baseman, Jay Fatz, with Faatz. He hit .264, 10 doubles, 3 triples, 0 home runs, 51 RBIs, and 64 stolen bases. So there was a lot of stolen bases during this era. Fatz was a first baseman from Weedsport, New York. He died in Syracuse, New York in 1923 at age 62. For his career, Fatz hit .241, 105 RBIs, 159 runs scored. He played for the Pittsburgh Alleghenies, Cleveland Blues, Cleveland Spiders, and Buffalo Bisons between 1884 and 1890. He was a player manager for the Buffalo Bisons in 1890. After he retired, he became an insurance salesman. He's buried in the Weedsport Rural Cemetery in Weedsport, New York. The Sporting News said this about Fatz, quote, they said he was, quote, as slender as a knitting needle and long as a fence rail. Fatz was a born leader. He had a quick temper. And he would often engage in obscenity-filled tirades, which made him unpopular with the fans and umpires. He was a good base runner, good at getting hit by the pitch. He was the captain at the beginning of the season. In a practice game and a preseason game against a minor league team in Wheeling, West Virginia, the Blues players were insulting the Wheeling players, I guess pretty bad, and then the Wheeling paper wrote, quote, there were quite a few ladies present, and they were highly incensed at the ungentlemanly behavior of the visitors. After the game, Fatz was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct for his behavior in the game. He paid a $15 bond before leaving Wheeling, West Virginia. In June, Fatz was in conflict with manager Jimmy Williams, and they had a major screaming match, and then Pop Snyder was reinstated as captain. And the thing that people didn't know is Fatz and his wife had recently lost their infant son who had died before the season. God bless Jay Fatz. Cub Stricker was back as the second baseman. Stricker had .233, 13 doubles, 6 triples, 1 home run, 33 RBIs, and 60 stolen bases. Edy Mckean was the new shortstop for the Cleveland Blues. Mckean he was back. He was not the new shortstop, but he was back. Mckean hit .299, 21 doubles, 15 triples, 6 home runs, 68 RBIs, and 52 stolen bases. A tremendous year for Edy Mckean. He was established as the once and future Cleveland shortstop. After the season, Mckean split time between Cleveland, Grafton, and Youngstown, visiting family and friends. So another tremendous year for the Indians' star shortstop, Edy Mckean. John Mcclellan was back at third base. Mcclellan hit 182, one double, 3 triples, 1 home run, 22 RBIs, and 26 stolen bases. Pete Hoteling was back in the outfield. Hoteling hit 251, 7 doubles, 6 triples, 0 home runs, 55 RBIs, and 35 stolen bases. Hoteling was released in September because the team was having financial problems. Bob Gilks was back in the outfield. Gilks hit 229, 14 doubles, 4 triples, a home run, 63 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases. Gilks also did some pitching. His record was 0-2 with an ERA of 8.14, 4 games, 2 starts, 2 complete games, and a save. Mortimer Hogan was a new outfielder. Hogan hit 227, 16 doubles, 6 triples, 0 home runs, 24 RBIs, and 30 stolen bases. Hogan was from Illinois. He died in Chicago, Illinois in 1923 at age 60 or 61. For his career, Hogan hit 207, had 88 hits, 29 RBIs. He played for the Milwaukee Brewers, New York Metropolitans, and Cleveland Blues between 1884 and 1888. So this was the end of Mortimer Hogan's MLB career. Another new bench player was Gus Albert, who hit 206, 10 doubles, 6 triples, a home run, 48 RBIs, 26 stolen bases in 102 games. Alberts was a third baseman shortstop from Reading, Pennsylvania. He died in Idaho Springs, Colorado in 1912 at age 51. Career average of 197, 1 home run, 50 RBIs, 426 at-bats. Alberts played for the Pittsburgh Alleghenies, Washington Nationals, Cleveland Blues, and Milwaukee Brewers between 1884 and 1891. He was 5'6", 180 pounds. Alberts died suddenly at age 52 of pneumonia. He ventured into the streets an hour before dying and was ordered returned to his hospital bed by a physician. He worked as a miner in Colorado and is buried in the Mount Olivet Cemetery in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Gus Alberts. Mike Goodfellow is another new bench player. Goodfellow had 245, 7 doubles, 29 RBIs, 7 stolen bases in 68 games. Goodfellow is an outfielder from Port Jervis, New York. He died in Newark, New Jersey in 1920 at age 53. Career average of 242, 66 hits, 24 runs. He played for the St. Louis Browns and Cleveland Blues between 1887 and 1888. So this was the end of Mike Goodfellow's brief MLB career. Chief Zimmer was back. Zimmer was not yet the regular catcher. Zimmer hit 241, 11 doubles, 4 triples, 22 RBIs, 15 stolen bases in 65 games. Another new bench player was Bill Mcclellan, who hit 222, 16 hits, 5 RBIs, 6 stolen bases in 22 games. McClellan was a second baseman shortstop from Chicago, Illinois. He died in Chicago in 1929 at age 73. Career average of 242, 6 home runs, 304 RBIs. McClellan played for the Chicago White Stockings, Providence Grays, Philadelphia Quakers, Brooklyn Grays, and Brooklyn Bridegrooms, and the Cleveland Blues between 1878 and 1888. This was the end of his MLB career. He's buried in the Rose Hill Cemetery in Chicago. Bill McClellan. Dick Van Zandt was a new bench player. Van Zandt hit 258, 8 hits, 1 double, an RBI, a stolen base in 10 games. Van Zandt was a third baseman from Richmond, Indiana. He died in Richmond in 1912 at age 47. They called him Foghorn Dick. He played for the Cleveland Blues in 1888, so this was his brief career, just the 1 year. He's buried in the Earlham Cemetery in Richmond, Indiana. Dick Van Zandt. Now, among the pitchers, Jersey Backley was our ace pitcher. As a hitter, Backley hit 134, 26 hits, a triple, 1 home run, 9 RBIs, 1 stolen base in 61 games. As a pitcher, Backley won 25 games, lost 33, an ERA of 2.97, 61 starts, 60 complete games, and 4 shutouts. Backley was from Blackwood, New Jersey. He died in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania in 1915 at age 50. Career record of 76 and 125. ERA 3.66, 669 strikeouts. Backley played for the Philadelphia Athletics, Philadelphia Keystones, Wilmington Quicksteps, Kansas City Cowboys, Cleveland Blues, Cleveland Spiders, Cleveland Infants, and Washington Statesmen. Also the Baltimore Orioles between 1883 and 1891. In 1890, Backley gave up Harry Stovey's 100th career home run. That was the first time an MLB player had gotten to 100 home runs. In August of 1888, he umpired one game. In 1890 with Cleveland, the umpire was knocked unconscious the day before, so Backley ended up umpiring again. In August 22 and 23 of this year, of 1888, Backley had 2 shutouts in 2 days. Wow, really something. Jersey Backley. Cinders O'Brien was the second starting pitcher. As a hitter, O'Brien hit 183, 20 hits, a double, 9 RBIs, 2 stolen bases in 32 games. His record as a pitcher was 11-19 with an ERA of 3.30, 30 starts and 30 complete games. O'Brien was from Troy, New York. He died in West Troy, New York in 1892 at age 24. Died young. His career record was 59-65 with a 3.68 ERA, 398 strikeouts. He played for the Cleveland Blues, Cleveland Spiders, Cleveland Infants, and Boston Reds between 1888 and 1891. He died of pneumonia. He's buried in the St. Patrick's Cemetery in Watervliet, New York. On a hot August day in Cincinnati, he was felled by a heat stroke and missed a week during the 1888 season. Cinders O'Brien. Now, the third pitcher was Billy Crowell. Crowell hit .086 as a hitter, 5 hits, 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, a stolen base in 18 games. Crowell's pitching record was 5-13 with a 5.79 ERA, 18 starts, and 16 complete games. A new pitcher was Ed Keese, who hit .087, 2 hits, 23 at-bats, 6 games. His record as a pitcher was 3-3 with a 2.29 ERA, 6 starts, 6 complete games, and 18 strikeouts. Ed Keese was from Dubuque, Iowa. He died in Dubuque in 1940 at age 77. He played for the Cleveland Blues in 1888. He's traded to Milwaukee for Jimmy Mcclellan, center fielder, which was a very good trade. Ed Keese, so he just had a very brief career. George Prosser was another new pitcher. Prosser hit .304, very good, 7 hits, 5 doubles, an RBI in 7 games. His record as a pitcher was 3-4 with a 3.81 ERA, 7 starts, 7 complete games, and a shutout. Prosser was from Cincinnati, Ohio. He died in New Burlington, Ohio in 1941 at age 77. Career record was 3-4 with 20 strikeouts with a 3.81 ERA. He hit .263 for his career, 1 home run, 7 RBIs. He played for the Cleveland Blues and Syracuse Stars in 1888 and 1890. They called him Yats. George Prosser. Mike Morrison was back. Another pitcher, hit .235, 4 hits in 4 games. His record as a pitcher was 1-3 with a 5.40 ERA. He made 4 starts and had 4 complete games. Mike Morrison. Doc Oberlander was a new pitcher. Oberlander hit .214, 3 hits, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs in 3 games. His record as a pitcher was 1-2 with a 5.26 ERA. He made 3 starts, 3 complete games, and he had 23 strikeouts. Oberlander was from Waukegan, Illinois. He died in Pryor, Montana in 1922 at age 58. He played for the Cleveland Blues in 1888, so he had just the 1 year in the majors. And he continued in the minor leagues until 1891. Oberlander studied at Syracuse University. Bill Stemmeyer was a new pitcher. Stemmeyer hit .400 as a hitter, 4 hits, 1 double, an RBI in 3 games. As a pitcher, his record was 0-2 with a 9.00 ERA, 2 starts, and 2 complete games. Stemmeyer was from Cleveland, Ohio. He died in Cleveland in 1945 at age 79. Career record of 29-29 with a 3.67 ERA, 295 strikeouts. Stemmeyer played for the Boston Bean Eaters and Cleveland Blues between 1885 and 1888, so this was the end of his MLB career. They called him Cannonball. In 1886, he set a record for wild pitches. 63, and that's still a record in MLB history. He liked to shoot dice in Cleveland, and one day he was in a bar. He got in a fight and injured his hand, so that couldn't pitch for a while. Edy Neuf was a new pitcher, hit 167, one hit, a double, two games. His record as a pitcher was 0-1 with an ERA of 1.00, 2 starts and 1 complete game. Neuf was from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He died in Philadelphia in 1900 at age 32. Career record of 20-20 with a 4.17 ERA, 128 strikeouts. He played for the Philadelphia Athletics, Baltimore Orioles, St. Louis Browns, Cleveland Blues, and Philadelphia Athletics between 1885 and 1889. In 1897, Neuf was working in Philadelphia as a firefighter. He fell and broke his back. Doctors were unable to help him, and he lingered in a cot in a hospital until his death in 1900. You can see medical care was not good in 1897. So after breaking his back, he had 3 years before he died. And finally, Cub Stricker, who was a regular player, pitched in 2 games, had a record of 1-0 with an ERA of 4.50 in those 2 games. So that's the story of the 1880 Cleveland Blues. Had a tough year, but we had MLB baseball in Cleveland, and that was something to be proud of and happy about. And there was hope for the future, because there was a bright future. This team was going to become a strong contender and win a championship 15 years later, 1880, yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Captains of the Cuyahoga, lovers of Lake Erie, Terminal Tower Power, fans of the Free Stamp statue, Tribe, Browns, and Cavs rule Cleveland, City of Champions. It's been 70 years since 1948. This is our year. Thanks again for watching. I really, really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.